Hey guys, welcome to Dom's Corner, where we talk about all sorts of things dealing in the world of entertainment and also a little bit of life too. I'm your host, Dom Martino, and I thank you for joining me very much. Before we begin, and we are going to honor the death of Joel Schumacher here on today's show, um, which is very sad. But before we begin, one of the coolest things that I think about ourselves as humans is that we're constantly learning every single day. And there is a great brand right now that is going to continue to help us learn how to cope with everyday life. And I know that it's certainly helped me out quite a bit. And that is the Red Eclectic. I encourage you guys to go follow them. And Adam over there is a great guy. Um, you could find them on Instagram right now. They have a ton of really cool videos. So I definitely recommend going to check out the Red Eclectic. So I will put that in the link in the description of this video. So check out all the dealings over there and like their stuff. Share that with your friends as well, especially people that you know who are having trouble dealing with life right now. That's an important topic. Also, same rules for this channel. Please subscribe, share this. I appreciate it very much. Hit that like button below. So, got a lot of actually really cool stories today. I don't know if you guys saw, but there is a new Bring Me the Horizon track out that I want to talk about. Also, 21 Pilots made the first never ending video, which is interesting. It's not something that you're gonna see all the time, you know, forever. It's the first never ending video in history. So hopefully other people do that again. There's going to be a movie shot with an AI bot, the first ever. Also, the big thing, of course, is the Joel Schumacher topic, which we will save for last here, just because I really want to be able to dive in and honor his death. He did a lot of really important stuff for the film industry, I think, and yeah, it was a big one. It hurt quite a bit, so we'll get into all that later. But like I said, yeah, follow Red Eclectic, and I'm glad to have you guys here. One of the big things that I brought up at the beginning here was that Bring Me the Horizon track. It's called um, why am I blanking on the name of this new song? I do apologize. Oh, I'm sorry, Parasite Eve. You could see how unprepared I am. Parasite Eve is the new track by Bring Me the Horizon. I checked it out, and the video is just super trippy. If you like their track Ludens, this definitely is kind of in the same vein of that sort of like heavier type genre, but also kind of mixed with, you know, the everything that they've done in the past, and I've really enjoyed that kind of style that they're going for now. Um, so I recommend that track and that video. The video definitely elevates the track, and real powerful lyrics with all the things that are going on in the world right now. It's definitely something to check out and listen to, and uh, watch the video for. Bring Me the Horizon's been one of my favorite bands. So to see them at this level of success and doing what they're doing, it's pretty fantastic. The Ludens video was so good, and it was everything that I've always wanted that band to be, and this is no different. It's in the genre of what they're best at, I guess, taking all the elements, all the pieces, and putting them together into, uh, kind of one singular genre and brand, would Bring Me the Horizon. So I definitely recommend checking that one out. That is a really, really great track. Um, so if you guys have time, check that out. The other thing that happened in the world of music, anyway, and I didn't bring this up at the top of the show, but I definitely want to bring it up now because I think it'll help a lot of people who are struggling with the COVID-19 situation and all that kind of stuff. It's really hard and it's a struggle. Is this Angels and Airwaves song? Now, the song's been out for actually a few months now. It's called All That's Left Is Love. Um, And the interesting story behind this is that they had this song done for the album. It was completed. I'm sorry, the music part. The music was completed. The lyrics were completed but not recorded. And right before Tom DeLonge was going to go record the lyrics for it, he ended up rewriting them to fit everything going on today in the pandemic. And he recorded lyrics having to do that. And kind of the opposite of Parasite Eve by Bring Me the Horizon, this one's a little more positive. It's a positive outlook about everything going on. Both very powerful songs in their own way, but I definitely recommend checking those out just because they're definitely they feed the soul, in a very good way. So check those out if you get the chance. I think that it can help you deal with this, regardless of how you feel about everything going on. And it's been a tough time. So, I just wanted to bring those things up, just because I know it's hard. And these are two tracks that actually have very much helped me. And they're both very powerful. Another song that came out a little while back that was quite powerful in its own way. It definitely deals with the COVID stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's powerful in a way that just kind of makes you want to get up and dance. Makes me want to get up and dance. I can't dance very well, but it definitely makes me want to get up and dance. And that is a song called Level of Concern. That is by 21 Pilots. That came out a little while back. I definitely recommend checking this one out. It's very poppy and dancey, like I said. It's very danceable. Here's the interesting thing, and you guys got to see this video to understand it. I can't explain it to you because I'm not. I really do enjoy 21 Pilots, and I think they do a lot of innovative stuff. And I can't really explain to you how they did this, but they sent out like all these codes to like some diehard fans or something, and those codes led them to digital USB drives, like once they got deciphered. And they clicked the digital USB drives, and I guess they had like port dates on them. Apparently, that they weren't revealing to anybody else other than those that deciphered these codes that they had sent out. It's really interesting. They have like I think it's like a 6-minute video on it on their official YouTube channel. So I recommend going there and checking that out. It was really cool. I've never seen a band or an artist like do anything like that. I thought it was one of the more interesting things that a band, or I'm sorry, that 21 Pilots has done, amongst all the other interesting things that they've just done in general. I mean, this is a band that puts their drummer with his entire drum set in the middle of a mosh pit in their live shows and lets him drum, and he rocks out. The band rocks out to that. So following up with that, Level of Concern, I actually thought it was the best song they did in a long time. I liked that last Trench album because I appreciated the risk that they were taking on it. But it wasn't my favorite one. I think it was actually my least favorite. So with this one, this single, what they ended up doing is, on top of the USB drive thing, what it also led fans to was a website, I suppose. And on this website, you can upload some footage of yourself dancing to Level of Concern, or really whatever you want. I'm waiting for somebody to upload cock and balls to it or something. And it basically emits to this never-ending music video of Level of Concern, and somehow it loops it in there. So you can actually upload yourself to this website, to my understanding, and you will be a part of this never-ending music video of Level of Concern on their official YouTube channel, that it just plays the song for 24 hours. This might be a boring story, and I know I'm kind of dragging on and on about it, but I just find it fascinating. I like when artists just kind of do something innovative. George Lucas is a personal hero of mine because of how innovative he was in making movies. He was always trying to push the technology, and I think that's important. And speaking of pushing the technology, we'll get to this next story here. Apparently, and I don't know many details on it. I think the budget for this movie is going to be like $70 million, which way too fucking much for something like this. But they're going to make a movie where the star, I guess, is this AI robot, like an actual AI robot that they have trained to act in one-on-one sessions. So it's kind of like Ex Machina. If anybody's ever seen that movie, great movie. If you have not seen Ex Machina, incredibly unpredictable. Except this is going to be like, it's like Ex Machina in real life. They had one-on-one sessions with this AI bot named Erica, and they're going to shoot a movie with her. Again, I'm a big fan of the innovation and, pushing the technology, but this thing is this is very strange to me. I knew that Stanley Kubrick was wanting to do this for the movie AI, which after Kubrick died, Steven Spielberg ended up taking over and directing, and ended up doing with the human. And Kubrick could have done this very well, but this just sounds like they're trying it for the sake of the gimmick. If you read into the story a little bit more, that's all it really sounds like it's going to be. And I'm not into that. It was like the whole James Dean thing, right? Because they were going to do, or still are going to do. We'll see how everything pans out. There was a lot of pushback on it, and I don't blame anybody. Resurrecting the dead is not cool. I know it's not literally doing it, but they were going to make that movie with James Dean. Going to give James Dean one more movie, and they weren't going to use like unused footage of James Dean. They were going to like deep fake James Dean's face onto some Joe Schmo actor. So I don't know. And this kind of sounds like the same thing for this robot thing. And it sounds like, and I don't know, you would have to look into the details, but it kind of sounds like they're going to take the kind of approach to where we're supposed to look at this robot like a human in this movie, robot actor. And the character's not going to be a robot, I don't think. It's a great, like, what happens when you do a sex scene with this robot and it gets like uncomfortable when you attempt this, and it just starts running down the street fucking naked, because it just ran out of the set. I mean, you can laugh all you want. It is funny. It's funny to think about. I'm not gonna lie to you, but they're gonna start doing pornos with these goddamn AI things. Eventually at some point, it's gonna happen, guys. It's expected, but it frustrates me. Okay, George Lucas had a great line where he said, a special effect without a story is an incredibly boring thing. I think I'm quoting him directly there. It's something along those lines, anyway. And he's right. It was it was kind of like stating the obvious when you watched it in the interview, but apparently more studios need to pick up on this sort of thing, because I'm tired of the gimmick. I want innovation, but I'm tired of the gimmick. You hear about these great ideas, like you hear about something like Tom Cruise is going to space to shoot a movie, and that's amazing, because Tom Cruise isn't going to do it for a project that he doesn't believe in. But if you just heard that, like, Joe Schmo's going to go do a movie in space just because, you'd be like, okay, the ball's on that guy. I respect it, and it's innovative, but I don't trust Joe Schmo, to go do a movie in space. And that's just kind of how all these ideas start. Even though one of them involves a big name like James Dean, I don't think James Dean would appreciate this. I think his estate has had to have signed off on the idea, but I don't know that James Dean himself would appreciate it. Maybe he would. Maybe he would love this innovation. But he's not here, which it doesn't make it illegal if the estate signs off on it. But he's not here himself to sign off on this idea. It's just like it's a gimmick. This is the type of stuff. Speaking of something that could turn out to be a gimmick, but I find to be kind of amazing all at the same time, and I'm torn on it. Um, eh, Michael Keaton is in talks. This is the story as I've heard it. So apparently, Michael Keaton's only in talks to come back to play Batman in the DCEU, which I think is cool if you're introducing the multiverse, which they will in the Flashpoint movie. But okay, by the way, so the story goes he's in talks to reprise Batman in the Flashpoint movie. Before we get to all the glory of having Michael Keaton back as Batman, I am surprised that this Flashpoint movie is still going to happen. Not because of the production issues. I mean, it's cursed with that. However, if you get Michael Keaton to sign on to this, you're going to be pretty golden. You know, if he's signing on to come back as Batman for the first time in however many years, I think you're going to be fine. You get this thing rolling and, you know, everything. And the stories have also said that Andy Muschietti's still directing this thing. I was under the impression that he got fired from this project after the whole It 2 thing because It 2 didn't do nearly as well as the first It. But all that aside, I'm surprised it's happening because of the Ezra Miller controversy. I don't like to get into this stuff. Well, I kind of do when it affects, like, you know, the movie itself. And you would think it would affect the movie itself. Like, how does Warner Brothers fucking tolerate Ezra Miller choking out a woman and, you know, taking her to the ground? Did you guys see that video that leaked earlier in the year? Like right around when all this COVID-19 stuff started. Like Ezra Miller was out in a different country at a bar and he choked out a woman and brought her to the ground. I listen, I like Ezra Miller as an actor. I think he's a good performer and I love him as Flash. I've been defending his Flash since day one, which is probably what makes this so upsetting. And you know, I would, as much as I love his performance in there, it's not right in this culture to pick and choose. Like, I don't understand how Ezra Miller can keep his job after choking out a woman, taking her to the ground. Like, it was I don't know all the details. Obviously, I wasn't there. And you know, it doesn't matter. He did that to a woman. You know, it was supposedly a fan who just wanted to take. That was my understanding. The altercation started in the bar. They got kicked out. I'm probably botching the story. So anyway, I was really confused when the Michael Keaton story came out that he might be playing Batman again in this Flashpoint movie. That Ezra Miller still had a fucking job after choking out a woman. Ridiculous. Um, it's wrong. It's wrong. Cancel culture aside, this is just wrong. Like I can't believe Warner Brothers is going to keep using him as the, you know, this Flash movie and one of the idols or one of the, you know, guys that people. Anyway, moving on. So Michael Keaton was supposedly he is supposedly in talks in Batman. I've heard that if I had to go like over under 50% that this is going to happen, I've heard it's pretty high over 50. It's not a done deal, but it's pretty high over that 50. And that's just from what I've been. I don't, you know, I don't know. It could not happen. It could be a very unlikely chance that he's actually going to agree to do this. I think it's time to see him back as Batman. But you got to tell the story right. Again, it goes back to the gimmick thing. I don't want them to just use him as a gimmick. But it's exciting. He is my favorite Batman, my personal favorite Batman. So yeah, while I'm excited about it, introduce him right. He's got to come from the multiverse, right? Because his universe was different than the DCEU. So you got to introduce him through the multiverse. You're gonna do, because they already had a Batman in the DCEU, and it was Ben Affleck. So you got to introduce Michael Keaton through the multiverse. And yeah, it would be cool to see like the Batman Beyond, where it's like the older Batman training a younger Batman, Tracy McGinnis. That would be so cool. Um, Yeah, I like that idea. If you could kind of use them as like the Nick Fury type, as a lot of people are saying, kind of like what Nick Fury is in the MCU, Batman, or Michael Keaton's rendition of Batman. DCEU characters. My thing is if this Batman comes into this universe, is he gonna stay stuck in it? I don't know. Flashpoint is kind of a really cool story where a lot of different things kind of get turned on its head. Like Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father, is Batman at one point because Bruce was the one that got shot in the alley in an alternate timeline. Basically, Flash has to go back without trying to spoil it too much to try to save his mother. Because he died and it was like the butterfly effect. So all these different events change. And that's just gonna. I agree that there has to be a movie like this to try to explain away, like, how are we going to get a new Batman and all this kind of stuff? And, how do all the universes work? Because DC's just opened up so many at this point. I know they tried to do Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I heard it was fucking awful. Didn't explain shit. Plus, a lot of people don't watch the Arrowverse within DC. There are a lot that do. There's a lot that don't. Like a lot of them that watch Arrowverse. I know I don't. Kind of know what's going on. Know what's going on kind of thing, but I don't like dedicate time to watch those shows on CW. Anyway, so very sad news. Joel Schumacher, filmmaker, has passed away at 80 years old. It's sad, but it's also kind of nice. Like, I'll tell you why it's really, and I didn't know the guy, so my condolences, of course, go out to anybody that did know him, and we're close to him. Of course, they're having it so much tougher than I am right now. I don't want to like downplay that. It's sad for me because I always thought he would kind of come in with like one more Big Bang, kind of movie, like one more smash hit. And he never really got that shot. So to me, that's sad. And maybe he didn't want to, and that's fine. I just always thought it would happen. Hey, shit, Martin Scorsese's like, he's still making movies. Um, he's still directing, and Schumacher is, his reputation got kind of tarnished in a way when he directed his Batman movies. But it wouldn't be fair, I don't think, to tarnish his name. I never did think it was fair. Listen, Batman and Robin is a terrible movie. Awful. It's a fucking train wreck. I can't stand that movie, and neither could Schumacher. And that's the thing. You say what you will, but he's a filmmaker who had the balls to come out, probably against everybody's advice, to come out and crash his own movie. And he did that because he recognized that he made a movie that was trash, that he wasn't proud of. Anyway, maybe some people love that movie, and that's great. But he wasn't proud of it, and he had the balls to come out and say he wasn't. Probably against everybody's advice around him. And I respect that. That's something that, more directors need to own up to. They got to be honest when they don't like their work, regardless of what the studio's telling them to. They got to say, I think I fucked up on this, if they think they did. Doesn't mean that people can't still be fans of that movie that they don't like. It just, it might be somewhat disheartening to those people, but it makes you more real and humanizes you when you can come out and say that, like, hey, I fucked up, and it wasn't his fault entirely. I mean, that was what the corporation of Warner Brothers wanted. They wanted him to make a live action cartoon movie that can sell toys. He kind of got put into the machine of the corporation. So that's all there was to that. And I don't think it's fair to, you know, kind of tarnish his name because of that. So yeah, guys, let's talk about some of these